So just quickly continue it without wasting any further time. Okay, so please let me know if is it a revision lecture or it's a new topic. Quickly write it down in the comments. As the number of participants are very few only, the 105 are there. Okay, it's a revision. Good enough. Okay, so please elaborate that from which perspective you want to discuss this topic. As this topic is a little bit technical, but not much complex. So quickly write it down that what you want to particularly focus in among the stress or its management or either it's a coping or whatever it is. Or it's just a time pass as usual. Okay, okay, related to the exam. Okay, okay, guys. So let's start with the stress and with the particular emphasis would be on the attempting the questions. Okay, stress is something which we encounter daily basis in our daily lives, right after rising from the bed until we sleep in night. And a person start facing stress as soon as he came into this physical world, and he will continue to face it until unless he died. Stress is something which polishes you. Stress is something which which make you depressed, which even can decrease your activity. Stress always works as a double-edged sword. Always remember this thing. It is very necessary for the life to continue. It is very necessary to progress, and in the on the same time, stress is something which can make you sick. So why this topic is very important regarding being the medical professionals, because we have to encounter a lot of stress as you guys are experiencing, as now you are in just the third year of your graduation. But obviously there is a normal stress of the exams, a normal stress of the classes, enormous stress of the campus, etc. So stress is not related with the medical field only. This is something which every individual, which every human being have to face is till the death. So let's see what's the hidden message in today's topic for us, how we can better manage it, how we can find the positivity in this stress, and how we can find the growth chances while facing the stress, while dealing with this stress. So let's first define it as per the exam point of view. Definition of every topic is very important, and always remember the purpose of the definition is the keywords. So as soon as the keywords are not included in definition for the exam point of view, no one will give you the full marks. So while preparing for the exam, particularly for the definition, as it usually come that for example, define the stress, define the eustress, define the distress, define the burnout, etc. So you the key points should be clear in your mind. So we can define the stress as an event, an environmental event which is beyond the coping capabilities of an individual. One way, or the other way, we can define the stress as the rate of wear and tear in body, as written in your book. Other way, any stimulus which brings about certain physiological changes in the body, and if the individual, if the human being, if the subject is unable to cope with this physiological changes, with this stimulus, if the individual failed to cope with the environmental stimulus, if individual failed to respond towards these environmental stimulus, then we will label it as the stress or the stress reaction. So always remember, while defining the stress for the exam, three things are very important. One thing is the environmental event, second thing is the failed coping ability, failed responding ability, and the third thing is the consequences of that failure. That is the anxiety, that is the reaction, the physiological reaction which will produce in your mind, which will produce in your body, right? So as if we, hopefully the definition is clear. So now, so for defining in the exam, three things should be present in the stress definition. One is a stressor or the environmental event. Second thing is the individual should perceive it that it is beyond my capabilities, it is beyond my responding abilities, it is beyond my coping skills. And the third thing is the reaction, the stress reaction itself, which is going on in the minds of people, which is going on in the body of individual, and it should yield something, the red light, it should highlight the physiological, normal physiological systems of an individual. So while defining the stress, another concept is very important, which is known as the cognitive appraisal. Split this word, the last word which is written in the slide, into two words. One is the cognition and second one is the appraisal. So in simple terms, its meaning is that the way how the external event is being obliged by your cognition. Cognition is simply the our it is simply the perception of an event, the analysis of that particular stimulus or the event, and then the presentation of that particular stimulus or the event, right? So stress, a similar event would be stressful for an individual, whereas that particular event will not be stressful for another individual. The difference lies in the cognitive appraisal. How? What is the meaning of the cognitive appraisal? Appraisal means how you respond towards the environmental stimulus. So if an individual feels that this particular environmental event is a threat for me, I cannot deal with it, it is beyond my capabilities, then that particular event would be a stressful event for that particular individual. Got it? Whereas, for example, if some individual feels that, oh, it's a new opportunity, it's not a threat, I will grow out of it, I have the capabilities, I will consult others, I will do a lot of hard work, and this event, I like such thrills in my life. So the same event for this second individual, it will become a, it would not be perceived as the stressful. So stress is particularly a subjective feeling, stress is particularly related to an individual, stress response is particularly specific, varies from one individual to another individual. What's the main variable? This appraisal, how you tackle it, how your mind put a check mark on any particular stimulus from the environment. Either it's a threat or either it's a challenge. If it's threat, then that particular event would be stress. Otherwise, it would be an enjoyment. In simple words. Okay. So the environmental stimulus, we label it as a stressor, and stressor can be physical or the psychological in nature. We have to deal it with the both kind of the stressors, the winters, extremes of summers, extreme humidity. These are the examples of the physical stressors. Extreme form of disease or the disease itself is a stressor for the physiological system, right? And in a similar way, the psychological stressors, there are a lot of psychological stresses that we have to deal with it. For example, to cover the syllabus in the particular time, to complete an assignment in the particular time, etc, and etc. Okay. So what we have learned so far: stress is simply a combination of stressor, an appraisal, and a stress reaction. As I said earlier, in order to write it down, the definition of the stress in the exam, you have to include all these three things, right? So how we can define a stressor? Any event, any condition which is a threat in our view, which is a threat according to our perception, which is a challenge in our according to our perception, etc. Appraisal, this is basically, in simple words, it's a perception of an individual towards an environmental stimulus. For example, that particular event XYZ, any event, is it a threat or is it a challenge for me? This personal perception, subjective perception, In stress, definition would be known as the appraisal. How you appraise, how you respond, how you tackle that particular stressor from the environment, right? And the combination of all these things is known as the what all three things: stress, stressor, and the appraisal is known as the stress reaction. So any emotional reaction or any physiological response of the body towards the stressor is known as the stress reaction. Hopefully, these three things are clear so far now. Is it clear or not? Just have a look at this picture. This whole picture explains what is the appraisal and how a particular event become a stressor for particular individuals. So as the environmental event happened, so the first would be uh, uh, what is written in the pink line. Is it a stressor? This line is known as the appraisal or the subjective perception. If it is not a stressor, I am not feeling stress, I am not panic, no sign of anxiety, I knew that I can deal with it. I am an athlete runner, and now there is a challenge that I should cover the 2 miles in 15 minutes. Then this challenge would not be a stressor for me, as I knew that I have practiced a lot in the past. I knew that I can do it. So for me, this challenge is not a stressor. But let's say I am an obese man. I haven't I haven't run beyond a few feet, right, ever in my life. So this particular task would be a stressor for me. Now, the secondary appraisal would be: is I become stressed that I said that I cannot run it, right? I left everything, I become quietly sit in a corner and I said that, oh, this is a so much panic task. I start accusing, I went into the denial, etc. Then that particular task would become the threat for me. And let's say i didn't I didn't attempt this sort of task in the past, but I think I can do it. If I try, I can do it. Then that particular task would become a challenge for me. If it become a challenge for me, then stress would be gradually would vanish over the period of time. But I didn't accept it as a challenge, if I still perceive it as a threat, then that stress reaction would become something which develop over the period of time. Got it or not? Let me repeat it. An event happened. There are two ways to respond towards that event. One thing is that I can do it, there's no problem in it, I'm used to do it. I knew that how to overcome with it, no stress at all, right? No stress reaction. As in my appraisal, I can do it. Let's say if in my appraisal, in my personal perception, I think that I can never do it. Whatsoever I will do, whatsoever the practice I will do, whatsoever guideline I will take, I am unable to do it. Simply, it's just like that I am not I didn't come into this world to do this particular task. Then that particular task, particular event would be a stressful activity for the rest of my life. Whenever I will think about it, I will develop my heartbeat will become fast, etc., and etc. All the negative thoughts will come into my mind. But let's say if I have a personality, if I always have a thinking pattern that yes, I can do it. Right now I am not trained to do it, but with the little bit practice, with a little bit research, with a little bit resources, yes, I can do it, I think I can do it. Then that particular stressful task will become a challenge. And with the challenge in your mind, all automatically the positive thoughts will come into your mind. And because of those positive thoughts, you will become the optimistic, right? So stress is nothing, stress is not generated from the environment. Always remember one thing: it is something which is generated inside your mind. And what is a variable, why it's generated, what is a raw material to generate a stress? That is your perception, that is your appraisal, how you respond, how you think about a particular environmental event. This is the main thing, right? Okay, so let's continue it. So what are the different factors which affect the stress? Always remember there is only one chief factor: perception of an individual. That's it. Or the cognitive appraisal. That's it. That's only the one variable on which all these variables which are written right in front of your screen. No doubt these variables, our perception become sometime under these variables that we perceive the certain events as stressful, and under certain circumstances we didn't perceive the event as stressful. Okay, so let's consider these variables. One is the individual view of stress or the individual cognitive appraisal. It will depend upon obviously the perception of the event, that how I am perceiving that this particular event is challenging, this particular event is threatening, this particular event what it is. It obviously the perception is the chief variable. Hopefully there is no need to further explain this perception thing. Second thing, as we already knew that human behaviors are directly derived from only two things. One is our personal experiences, and second is our observation. As you guys have studied in the section C, that the learning or the learning of the new behavior or the acquiring of the new behaviors, they only depend upon the two variables. One is the our own experiences, and second is the observation learning, or by observing the others. So if the past experiences about a particular thing, they are bad, they are the negative, then obviously in future if the similar things had happened, then automatically the negative thoughts will come into your mind, right? For example, if a patient have a very bad experience of a particular doctor, or of the individuals of the particular particular style, then in the future when that particular patient will go into the similar settings, into the similar wards, into the similar doctors, he or she will always have the negative feelings, right? What are our strengths? Strengths will include the two words. One is that it basically shows our personality strengths, that over the period of development which sort of characteristics we have developed. For example, if we are a little bit narcissist, then the events would be little bit more stressful for us. If we have a personality of the little bit with the OCD characters, then the environmental stressors or the environmental events will become a little bit challenging for us. If we have a venturesome personality, so this all depends, strengths all depend upon that how we spend our past life. In the similar way, biographical assets, there are two things. One is known as the biographical assets, and one is known as the biographical liabilities. By biographical assets, it is more or less similar to as that of your past experiences. For example, if in the past you have become master into one thing, you have become successful in doing a thing, then in the future if the similar event happened, if the similar stressor happened, then you will feel the less stress. Then the next thing is the social sport. It obviously just social sport did nothing, but it obviously influenced our perception of an event, right? As I said that human behavior depends upon two things, learning depends upon two things. One is our own experiences, and one is the experiences of the others, or the motivation from the others. So if the social sport is positive, so if the social sport is present in our lives, then the stressful event would be less. Okay, other factors which are particularly related with an individual, these is known as the race or the gender. Gender, among the gender, it is known as that the males, they usually bear more stress, but they are less expressive. So as they are less expressive, so they mostly indulge in their own thoughts. They don't want to take the opinion of the others. So sometime they become more stressful about a particular thing, mostly because they didn't share. Whereas on the other side, the female genders are usually expressive, they have the emotions, they have the ability to highlight the emotions, right? So what happened that because of that highlighting, they can easily share the things, so the relative stress is less. But if we compare the overall, So as the females are more expressive, so they usually show more stress on a subjective scale, as they are more highlighting their issues. That's why. That's the only reason. Among the age, as you become more experienced, then there is a chance that you will become less stressful. But it all depends upon the perceptual on perception of an individual. Marital status at the social support. If they said that the married people they usually have the less stress score, and in the similar way, the socioeconomic status and the early developmental experiences. So the point is that how this particular slide can pop up in your exam, how this particular slide will show up in factors, how they will write in the exam. So mostly, if there is a question that please also write down the variables of the stress, write down the different factors which can influence the stress. You have to just write down these names and just write down the single line or the two line or explanation. That's it. That would be more than enough. Always remember one thing while attempting a question paper, that first divide the numbers, that how many marks are being awarded for a particular question. For example, if the examiner asks that there are 2 marks for writing the factors that influence the stress, then this means that you at least have to write down the 8 factors, that the minimal mark per factor may be the 0.25, right? So in this way, in this technical manner, you would be able to better attempt it. Okay. Then among the variables, the psychological variables, what we have studied in the previous slide, there are 3 categories, broad categories. One are the psychological variables, other are the social variables. Among the social variables that are written on the right side, among the psychological variables, we further divided it into 2 things. One is that is related with the individual perception, and the second sort of variable is that are related with the personality type of an individual. So among the personality type, or chiefly you can say that among the psychological type of the variable, other thing is the locus of control, either the internal or the external. It is also an individual variable. Whether by internal locus of control, one means that my life is under my control. My life is the consequence of my own actions. That I failed because I didn't study, I failed because I didn't struggle. This is known as the internal locus of control. Whereas, contrary to this, the second thing is the external locus of control. External locus of control is that my life is under the control of life. My life is under the control of God. My life is under the control of some chant. My life is under the control of some supernatural thing. So whatever bad happened in my life is because the superpowers are angry with me, and everything that good happened with me is because these superpowers are they are happy with me. So this is the second factor is known as the external locus of control. So an individual who have the internal locus of control, obviously he or she will have the less stress, as he or she is accepting the responsibility, he or she is taking the environmental event as the challenge, right? Then is the need for stimulation, and then the openness to change. By these meaning that how much an individual is ready for the openness. If you study, if you go through the big 5 personality characters, then the openness is among the big 5 personality traits, right? By openness we means that how much the individual is flexible towards the different ever changing environmental conditions. If the level of the openness, if the level of the flexibility is high, then the stress would be less, as the individual is always welcome the new changes, as the individual is ready to adapt the new environment, right? Then is the stimulus screening, meaning that how the individual perceive the different stimulus which are generating from the environment, right? So if an individual take it as a threat, then the stress would be high. If the individual have the habit of taking it as a challenge, then the stress reaction would be less. Then as a self-actualization, it basically didn't have the direct relation with the stress reaction. It only modifies it a little bit, as the priorities are different for an individual who becomes the self-actualized. as we knew that to become self actualized we should go beyond our body, we should go beyond our physical needs, right? So for a self actualized person, the day to day stressors, they are not much meaningful, but the bigger stresses, for example the stress of the others, stress of the humanity, they are at stake. He will consider these stressors as important. So they said that those individuals who become self actualized, they show the less stress reaction, because they don't have to worry about the little stressors. Then the use of denial, obviously if you use denial, then the stress reaction would be more pronounced. Why? Because by denial no problem would be solved, and the problems will become pile up, and at the end they obviously you will buried under the weight of these all problems, right? And social sport we have discussed earlier. So for the exam point of view, just judge that how many marks are being awarded for these variables. If or let's say, as I'm not interacting with you guys, can you hear me, or I'm just talking with? Okay, okay, good enough, good enough. So for the exam purposes, just count it that how many marks are being awarded. If let's say 2 mark or the 1 mark or the 1.5 mark, then most probably you just have to write it down in the numbers, like the 5 factor, 6 factor, or the 7 factors. And let's say if there are 5 marks, then you have to write down the little bit detail about all these variables, all these factors, right? So just attempt it as per the mark scheme. Another variable is the hardness. Hardness is simply that why certain individuals under the similar situation, similar situation means under the similar different situation, like the different stressful situations, they didn't become panic over the period of time, whereas the certain individuals in the similar office, in the similar school, in the similar environment, they become fed up, they become burnout, they become the victim of the panic under the similar environmental stressors. So they define that this individual difference may be because of the another variable known as the hardness. Hardness they define in the three terms. So for the exam point of view, you have to write down these four factors of the hardness, right? Whenever it comes, what, like for example a scenario will pop up in the exam that Mr. XYZ, there are two individuals A and B. A Mr. A always become more panic. Mr. A always become more stressful, and while doing the similar assignment, whereas Mr. B is very resistant to the effects of the stress. And recently, the psychologists they have identified a new type of variable, which is known as a hardness, right? Or in the exam, it may be written that identify this new variable of the stress. So the answer would be the hardness. Now, if they have just use examiner just use the word highlight it, identify it, write about it, then most probably he is asking about the definition. Again, consult about the mark scheme. If let's say examiner use the words that write in detail, write briefly, write a little bit about this new factor, this new variable, then you have to write down all these four components of this hardness. These are the components of the hardness. So the first component is the how much one is intrinsically motivated. In simple words, if you are intrinsically motivated, then obviously you would be hard person, like the Jinnah, like the worldly leaders. They are obviously intrinsically motivated, they are committed, so they have the more hardness level. And if you have the internal locus of control, which is written in the second point, as you can see on your screens, the sense of control over one's life, then the level of hardness would be high. And the third thing is the ability to see as the challenge in your perception, in your personality, if your personality have a characteristic that you are ready to openness to change, you are working in your conscientiousness, which is again a variable of the five personality factors, then you would be more hard, right? And the last thing is the coherence. Coherence is nothing, it is something which we have as which we have mentioned previously, that the self actualized people, they are they are less prone towards this stress thing, right? Why? Because they have the more coherent sense of feeling. What is coherence? That what you are doing, what is your job, it is similar uh, to, it is as per your wish. Let me explain it again. By coherence we means that the task, the job, the activity which an individual is doing on daily basis, it is similar which he or she should do, he or she want to do. There are two things. We are doing things in life that we do not want to do. Like, for example, someone maybe someone want to become an engineer and he is studying the medicine, then obviously we can say that he is not coherent, right? But if someone genuinely wants to study medicine and he is becoming a doctor, then we say that this guy have the sense of coherence. So the more the coherence, more you will become hard, and less you will become the prone towards the stress thing, right? So coherence, so intrinsic motivation, internal locus of control, the venturesome personality, personality with the characteristics of the openness, conscientiousness, and the coherence. These are inversely related with the stress. Hopefully, this thing is clear. Okay, quickly go through the next slide. Okay, then there is another concept known as a burnout. Burnout is nothing. uh, Burnout is something, uh, if in the exam they ask that what is a pinpoint sign of the burnout, or you have to identify in the scenario, then burnout is nothing. Burnout is that thing which put a bigger roadblock in in the line of your duty, right? If the individual starts skipping their duties, if the individual starts skipping their routine life, then we can suspect that among other variables, the variable of burnout is also prevalent. How the question will come in the exam, that the Mr. XYZ recently joined a surgery department, or the Mr. XYZ just recently joined an emergency department. He was doing his job responsibilities as per the requirement. There was no complaint among the colleagues, there was no complaint from the hirers, etc. But suddenly it was observed among the colleagues of the XYZ that he is now skipping the duties. He now becoming absent. Being absent is now becoming the routine of the XYZ. So, what do you think that among, as per the stress, what change have occurred in the XYZ mind? So the most likely cause would be the burnout, right? So burnout is something under extreme stressful conditions we first try to cope with it. First try to seek it. And with the passage of time, a time comes in our lives that the thing which mostly sets to exhaustion is obviously the first thing which comes in the mind. Okay, so I just lost the connection. So quickly go through it. Okay. So basically, burnout is a combination of first thing which happened is the exhaustion. Obviously, one would become exhausted. One would think that I am unable to do it. So right from that thing, obviously, all the negative feelings, all the negative reactions will continue in his or her mind. Then what happened that just a minute. Okay, now what happened that one would feel why the exhaustion become because of this inefficiency, this purple circle. One would become feel that I am not inefficient. This stress is no more. I cannot handle this stress anymore. So because of this inefficient feeling, because of any reason, maybe because of the consecutive failures, maybe because of the gradual increase in the level of the stress from the environment, maybe because of the decrease in the level of the commitment or whatsoever the reason, right? Maybe because of the loss of the social circle. So whatever the reason, one would feeling the feeling of the inefficiency would come into the mind of an individual. Because of this inefficient feeling, one would start feeling exhausted, lethargic, or the less energy, and ultimately the distrustful attitude or the cynicism will pop up. What is cynicism? It is basically a distrustful attitude that I cannot do it anymore, that particular final check mark, and after that the burnout will result. So burnout is a combination. If it is asked in the MCQs, if it is asked in the SEQ, that write in detail about the burnouts, first you have to define the burnout as in according to the previous slide as per your book. Then you have to write down about these three factors that burnout is a combination of all these three factors. And as per the marks division, I have mentioned them. Just quickly highlight types of stress as there are 2 minutes remaining. So we classify the types of stress as per two criteria. One is the cause of two things. If it is a physiological towards the type of the stress as per the stress period. If the stress is of short nature, acute. If it is of longer period of time, more than 2-3 weeks, then the chronic negative energy in an individual use stress. And if the stress generates a negative energy, if the stress generates a negative feelings, if the stress generates a negative emotions, if the stress generates a exhaustion, then this is known as the distress, as the name depicts. So this classification, this one is as per the based upon the stressors, nature of the stressor. Is it is of belongs to the physiological nature, or is it belong to the psychological nature? And this classification, it is as per the nature of the stress itself. Either it is a short duration, longer duration, is it generating a negative emotion or a positive emotion? Or is it generating a negative emotion or a positive emotion? So the stress being a positive emotion, obviously it will keep you motivated. Obviously it will make you excited. Obviously it will improve your as logic. But if the stress is negative emotion you generating that you cannot do it, generating a fix, you can study it. You have to concentrate onto this curve. This is very important. Yakey's Dodson curve. So it states that on the x-axis there is a stress level, and on the y-axis there is the performance level. Just for the sake of remembrance, just knew one thing, that they have plotted the stress versus the performance. That how much stress if we give to an individual, then the performance will go into the peak, and then on how much stress again individual will become exhausted or the burnout. So they said that there is a universal relation between there is a proportionality between the stress level and the performance level. At the start of the stress, everyone feeling energized, we are very much focused and our work feels effortless. This period is known as the period of the eustress. But with the passage of time, obviously, after dealing with the stress, after dealing with the stressful things on the daily basis, we ultimately start feeling fatigue, exhaustion, breakdown, and ultimately our performance will become down. So this period is known as the distress. But let me tell you one thing: only those individuals who are intrinsically motivated, who have the sense of the coherence, who have the intrinsic motivation, who are doing it selflessly, they have the genuine interest in this activity, they will not feel this distress period. They will always become they will work like the 24 hours continuously, and they are still motivated, right? So this curve again depend upon the personal perception, right? Okay, G. This is the response of the stress as per the physiological stress. You already know about the ANS fight or the flight system. This HPA axis, I guess you are more expert than me in it. And obviously, the third phase, which is the phase of the burnout. Now, the another thing is the general adaptation syndrome. If let's say question come in the exam that what is the general adaptation syndrome, so the general adaptation syndrome is that the definition is written on the top of this curve, like uh, just focus on this line, the predictability. This graph shows the predictability of an individual. That is, the stress response defends as a whole. Our whole body start responding toward the different stressors, and till the point of maximum performance. And after this maximum performance, there is a decrease in the performance and known as the exhaustion or known as the burnout. So if you see about the different phases of this general adaptation syndrome, there are three phases. One is the alarm reaction, then the resistance, and the third phase is the exhaustion. What is the alarm reaction? It is the first encounter of an individual with the stressor. For example, if I just announce that there is a test in the afternoon right after 1 hour of this similar lecture which you have just gone through, then that phase is known as the alarm reaction. Resistance phase is that when you start preparing towards that test, toward that stressor, the strategy, the manipulation, adaptation, whatever. So this is known as the resistance phase. You have to cope, you start doing coping with the stressor, and ultimately after doing coping, a lot of coping, a lot of resources, after investing a lot of resources, you suddenly start feeling a decrease in the energy level. This is known as exhaustion phase. It is best observed by nowadays. So those individuals who have whose exam were announced before this COVID-19, they were actually in the resistance phase, right? So what happened that the exam become delayed. They keep on studying, they keep on studying. The exam first time delayed, exam second time delayed. Ultimately what will happen, that they will go into the exhaustion, they will left their books, and you know they will become exhausted, right? So exhaustion is a real thing. It is not like that those individuals who are intrinsically motivated, they don't become exhausted. No, it's not like that. Exhaustion is a real thing. Ultimately human beings, they become exhausted whatsoever they are doing, right? So the only key that how we can fight with this exhaustion is that is by incorporating more intrinsic motivation, by only doing what we are supposed to do, what by only doing those things which genuinely spark our interest, so we can reduce this exhaustion period. But it obviously happens in every individual life. Every individual needs breaks, right? Okay, so these are just the systemic manifestations of the stress. You knew it better. Okay, so this is the take home message. Just quickly go through with it, that how we can do it by managing our stressor, by managing okay, let me summarize this whole slide in 1 minute. By doing only two things, you can control the level of stress in your life. First, be the in charge of your life. Do not let the life to instruct you, right? always start instructing your life, always start taking the responsibility that I am doing this thing and I am doing it with my full conscientiousness, right? It is not like that I am dead man and nature throw this problem on me and now I am at the full stake of the nature. Either do not try to attempt a task, or either if you try to attempt a task, do it with the full heart, do it with your full motivation, do it with the full energy, so that you don't have any regret. Always remember, when we start delaying the things, oh, I will see it, nothing will happen. What will happen maximum? So what will happen, that this become our learning pattern, that in the future, whenever the stressful event happen, whenever the stressful activity pop up from the nature, from the environment, you will do the same negative way, you will cope it in the similar negative way. And the next thing is that learn to say no, do not take every responsibility on your shoulders, because the exhaustion is a natural thing, right? So just by taking the responsibility, and just by taking by doing the things from heart, and by becoming the charge of your life, you can minimize the stress things, right? Yes, there are other ways you can also the biofeedback, the Jacobson technique, the PMR, the progressive muscle relaxation techniques, obviously the exercise, they will they will lessen your stress better, no doubt in it, no doubt in it, because they are proved by the studies, various studies. But always remember, perception is the key in the stress. So keep your perception as positive as possible. Okay, so any questions so far? Quickly write it down, you have 2 minutes. As usual, no, right? As everything is clear. Any questions? Well, that's good. Okay, then best of luck for your class test, which is, I guess, on 17. And take care. Thank you. Okay, okay. Let me take a screenshot of this slide. Just press the print screen button of your keyboard. It will automatically save into the pictures of the documents under the C drive. Okay, Allah Hafiz.